Hey there folks, welcome back to another video. And today we're doing a little bit of a throwback. We're taking a look at the Marvel Legends all new, all different black suited Daredevil. This is from the Spider Build-A-Figure wave, that mech spider suit, whatever you want to call it. But this is just the stripped down figure. I don't have the Build-A-Figure piece, so we're just going to take a look at this. I picked it up just a couple of days ago online. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alrighty guys, so here's the figure all by himself. And, you know, it's pretty self-explanatory. A lot of people are aware of the Bucky Cap mold, of course. And, I mean, I think for what it is, it's a pretty solid figure. It looks pretty cool. I think there's, you know, I definitely think there's some things that they could have done. I think that this is a relatively cool suit. I think I prefer this over the Shadowland suit because it just has a little bit more red on it. I think the hand wraps and the boots are a little bit more visually interesting, although just the black version of the classic suit is still really cool. But there's some things that they could have done here that make it, you know, a little bit more unique. Of course, giving it its own body. I think this figure or this costume on the Vulcan body would look very, very cool. But there's some things that this suit has that they could have done that would have made it a little bit more unique. Some artists drew it with the chin strap, which I'm not a big fan of the chin strap, but they could have done that because they could have given him an alternate head that has the chin strap and then kept this one because I do actually like this head. I would have liked to have seen a different setup for the billy clubs because with the... I'm sure there's some instances where it's not like this, but the majority of the time for the all-new, all-different suit, one billy club is on one leg and one billy club is on the other. So that would have been cool, and they both attached to the belt. We haven't really seen Hasbro attach the billy clubs to the belt other than the King Daredevil figure. And I guess I know if you go all the way back to the Nemesis wave Build-A-Figure Daredevil. But yeah, I think there's some things they could have done that would have made it a little bit more unique. This is definitely at the point where the Bucky Cap was starting to really fail on us. And then on top of that, this has just really gummy joints. It really just doesn't feel how you want a figure to feel. And that, you know, it kind of bothers me because I really do like the way that the Bucky Cap looks. I think it's a very nice sculpt. I like the anatomy. I like the overall structure of it. I think it's probably a little bit too ripped. That's probably my biggest thing on it. Like, you got like chest veins up here and stuff. It's cool seeing veins sculpted into a figure, but I would prefer wrinkles over veins. But yeah, like this, I've heated it up and this shoulder just doesn't... Well, I guess I finally got it to free up properly, but I did heat it up and it was moving fine, and then it was stuck again. I think I just finally broke it out. But yeah, like this one moves pretty smoothly. And then this arm is getting a little bit, you know, wobbly, you know, since I was trying to free up this shoulder. But yeah, like the belt is kind of like molded crookedly. It's sitting on the body crooked, but then like there's also like this weird hook in it. You can see that, like this angle. It's just, you know, it was at the point where these pieces really should have been replaced. The billy clubs are all warped. I've done my best to try to warp them back, but I gotta work on that a little bit more. The billy clubs are actually a separate color than the rest. All of these pieces are the same color except for the billy clubs are a little bit more of a metallic pinkish red, which I kind of like, compared to this more orangey red. I think that the logo probably could have used another layer of paint. But yeah, I don't know. They did do a wash on the gloves, which is pretty cool. And they did it on the laces, which is nice. The wraps, I should say. They painted the fingers on this. And the alternate hands, which you see. These are the same hands that we get with the King Daredevil figure, except they didn't paint the fingers on those ones. That's kind of why it has this sort of like taper at the end, because it actually sits into the wrist properly on this hand, whereas with the King Daredevil figure, this isn't his hand, but it's the same sculpt. since the wrist doesn't overlap the hand the same way, it kind of gives the hand this weird taper, which was, you know, properly covered with this version because the wraps go over the hand. But yeah, so kind of the same idea there. I prefer this because it's, you know, more close to the wrist. It's not as big. These kind of just look a little bit too chunky, but I also like this because it's a separate piece, because you can, you know, move it around if you want to onto other figures. So I don't know, it's got its pros and cons. But yeah, I think there's some things that they could have done differently. I hope to see them redo this at some point with an updated body. I'd rather see them do, actually, you know, I want to see Hasbro just do another crack at this, and then maybe Mafex can give us an actual Shadowland one. I just want to see them do this, basically the same thing, but on a better body, and then with an updated Billy Club system, and I think that'll work out nicely. I do like this body for Daredevil, and I like this head. It reminds me a lot of the animated series. That version of Daredevil seemed very very capable and confident in his ability. He was very, you know, just kind of sliced right through bullshit, and he was just all business. And I really like that. That version of Daredevil has always kind of stuck with me. Ben Affleck's version of Daredevil kind of reminds me of that as well. I do think Charlie Cox is like that, but he's a little bit more... like, he's capable, but he still is, like... he can still get his butt kicked a little bit in a fight, you know what I mean? He doesn't come across as mean. He's distant. He's isolated, but he doesn't come across as, like, I don't know. I could be talking out of pocket here, but I feel like the animated series of Daredevil felt almost Batman-like in his approach, where he's just very calculated, confident in his ability, and he, you know, has no time for anything else. I don't know. You guys might, I don't know. You might disagree. You might not really see what I'm saying there. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, this version of, like, this sculpt and stuff just reminds me of that. The very furrowed brow. That's also another thing about the Charlie Cox version of Daredevil that I don't like, is when he's wearing his black suit, you can't really see an expression on his face, which that doesn't really matter because I like that version of the suit anyway. But with the red suit, there's no real expression in the mask, so he doesn't look as angry, which is something that I just really prefer for Daredevil. One of the reasons I like the Ben Affleck suit, because it has a lot of expression in it. But yeah, enough about that. You know, we're not really going to do the articulation segment in this. It's, you know, it's been done to death. You got nice range in the ankles. You can go forward pretty well. Nice ankle pivot. You retain the boot rocker. And other than that, you guys know what the Bucky Cap suit is. This is just kind of the Bucky Cap mold is. It still has the port in the back, which is how I was had it displayed earlier with the Mafex stand. It does come with this, which again I tried to heat up and straighten out. For some reason, I assumed that it was just going to be like flat on this kind of plane. Obviously, it's three-dimensional on this plane, but for some reason I assumed it was going to be flat. But it's got these. It seems like these are intentional curves in there, which makes more sense. You know, it's supposed to replicate motion, but I kind of don't like I feel like this right here should be straight. That way it goes straight into the Billy Club. Because when I had him posed before, like, I just have it jetting off strangely. I don't think it's on this side. It might be on this side. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't seem right to me with certain angles. I think it's supposed to be more straight, and I just can't get it. Like, it should have these kind of curves in there. But, like, this should be straight, and then the end of this should be straight, I feel like. But I don't know. So, yeah. I don't know. Overall, this is pretty cool. I think this is the first time we'd seen these version of the Billy Clubs where they no longer connect. And then I don't think we had seen them again until the 3-pack with the Renew Your Vows body and then the VHS figure, which hopefully I can be able to get my hands on at some point down the road so I can do a video on that. But, yeah, this was just kind of a quick review. Well, I guess we can do some size comparisons, see what it looks like next to some other Daredevil figures at the very least. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, here he is compared to the Marvel Legends King Daredevil that was released in the last 2 years, I believe, maybe sooner. But yeah, the Marvel Legends King Daredevil, and then a custom first appearance Daredevil over here. Well, actually, this is going to be more so based off of Daredevil Yellow. But yeah, this is the original Walgreens figure over here, but I'm fixing it up. I tore it apart years ago trying to make other customs, so now I'm trying to bring it back to what it was. I go over this in the unboxing video that I just did. It should be up by the time this goes up, hopefully, because I guess there'd be spoilers in it. But yeah, so there's that. Doing a bit of a Spider-Man size comparison right here. Here he is compared to the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man with a head swap on the left, which also gives you an idea of what he stacks up, how he stacks up against his 3-pack version with the Renew Your Vows body. And then the Mezco Comic Spidey on the right, which I think overall, they really don't go together. But it's still kind of a cool look. All right, here he is compared to the Toy Biz Bullseye on the left. This is the variant version with the darker color scheme, the darker and more metallic color scheme. And then on the right, of course, here he is compared to the Mafex Daredevil. This is this is a newer release. It's a great figure. I'm sure you guys have seen it before. If you're watching a Daredevil video and you haven't seen anything on this, oh my goodness, I don't know what you're doing. I just picked this guy up recently. His video should be up around the same time as this one, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I mean, overall, you can see that the Mafex is a little bit taller, even though he should be a little bit taller, but his head's down just a little bit. So yeah, I think that at least these two stack up pretty well. But this figure's so good, I wouldn't let its height deter you from getting that. But as far as the All New, All Different goes, we've seen the body a bunch of times, so it's not really anything too special. If you're really concerned about getting yourself a black suited Daredevil, I would still get it. A lot of umming going on right here. If you're somebody who's wants to tamper with the idea of customizing, it's really not that hard of a figure to do. You can get yourself Marvel Legends figures that are all black relatively easy, and at the very least, you'd have to paint the double Ds on the chest if you wanted to get it on a better body. I mean, all of these pieces here are removable. You'd have to cut the belt and re-glue it, which would be pretty difficult if the figure you choose has a wider waist. But I mean, other than that, this figure is serviceable, or you could make your own with these pieces. I don't know. It's something that could be done. But I don't recommend spending a whole crazy amount of money on this. I just wanted to add it to the collection. I spent a little bit more that I'm happy with, especially for one that's not complete. But yeah, I don't know. Just a quick video. I can't say that it's overly recommended, but it's good enough for what it is. But with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, notification bell. All that would be greatly appreciated if you decide to do so. And of course, until next time, true believers.